Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode here. This is New Album Spotlight, where I put the spotlight on a new album in progressive rock that I feel like deserves your attention. If you're a prog fan like me and like similar style music, then these albums that I showcase should be ones up your alley. I hope so, at least. And today I have a great one for you guys. This is the new album by Solstice, and the album is called Clann. This is a band that was founded back in the UK in 1980, so been around the block for quite some time, but I feel like they've had a lot of different iterations and a lot of different permutations throughout the years. So the current iteration of the band, I know this is the third in kind of a trilogy of albums with a similar lineup and a similar feel. The first was Sia in 2020, Light Up in 2022, and Clann in 2025. My introduction to the group was actually Light Up, which I did a review of from 2022. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was bright and fun, kind of has a Yes-like spirit to it, which really drew me in. And I love this style symphonic prog. So that's really my entry point. But they've been around since the 80s. Their first album came out in 1984 called Silent Dance. Really the common thread throughout their discography, throughout their history, is Andy Glass, who's been the main member, the guitarist, kind of the brains behind this project since its inception. And my overall take for this new album, Clann, is just that it's the best feel-good prog album that I've heard this year. Just absolutely positive vibes, very fun, very life-affirming and comforting in the soundscape. I love the beautiful combinations of sounds and styles throughout the record. Love the violin work that comes out in the forefront, bright symphonic keys, female harmony vocals, emotive guitar soloing. They kind of alternate between these more serene, peaceful soundscapes to some truly uplifting symphonic prog bursts of life with an edge of funk and folk music that I just absolutely fall in love with. It's just a captivatingly gorgeous album. It's a very short album. Really, if you include the bonus track, which is also 7 minutes long at the end of the record, it's 45 minutes in length. Even shorter if you took out the bonus tracks. So they really give you a tight, focused group of songs here, and it leaves you wanting more in the best possible way. You just want to press repeat and listen to this album all over again. And it has some different kind of styles as you go throughout the record. There's some more world music kind of vibes. There's a funky edge to it that really makes them unique and stand out. There's a folk side, especially with all of the really poignant violin work. There's some really expanded symphonic sections that remind you of some of the atmospheric sides of Yes. There's some bright, catchy, poppier numbers as well. It's just a really cool balance of different flavors that never leaves you bored or, it always keeps you guessing and wondering what's on board for the next track. Firefly opens the record in a bright, fun way. Great cosmic keyboard riff that repeats throughout the opening. Cool bumbling bass line, some funky guitar work, beautiful female vocals right out of the gate. Their female vocalist, Jess Holland, is fantastic. She's one of the stars of the show here. Her vocals are excellent throughout, and I think she brings a really important element to their sound that puts them on another level, so I want to highlight her in particular. But the whole band lineup is excellent. They have a couple other female vocalists on this record as well, I think mostly in background, but coming to the forefront in different moments. Ebony Buckle and Diane Crutcher. Fantastic vocalist as well. Like I mentioned, we have Andy Glass on guitar here. Jenny Newman is the violinist, who's another all-star performer and one of the greatest elements of this group. Pete Hemsley on drums and Robin Phillips on bass, really bringing a really great weight to these pieces. And some of the grooves that are on board this record are just totally captivating and right in the pocket, and they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And then Stephen McDaniel's keyboards are fantastic also, giving this kind of cool symphonic prog brightness and really bringing to mind classic Rick Wakeman and all of the other masters of the early prog scene. So I just absolutely love this uplifting musical stew that's on board. Like I mentioned, Firefly has that brightness and poppiness right off the bat that gets you excited, but also has some more dreamier and deliberately paced sections and an excellent extended guitar solo from Andy. Just fantastic piece of work. Life is another great track. Grooving bass, ever-present violin, female harmonies, gives a bit more of a jazz infusion here than the first track, but definitely adds a folkier element with the prominent lead violin playing. There's a midsection that's much denser and slower pace with this kind of swelling buildup of sumptuous sound. Just beautiful, culminating in a powerful guitar solo before finishing with the satisfying groove and some yes-like harmonies. Just a wonderful track. One of the best to sample if you want to know the kind of music you're to expect on this record. Then we get into two kind of funkier tracks, Plunk and Frippa. Plunk is a bit more of the energetic one, cool bursts of horn and funky guitar work, cool textured organ grooving underneath with a tasty drum and bass pattern, some catchy upbeat vocals, great guitar solo in kind of a jam bandier style. This is just a fun track that showcases their penchant for fun and funkiness that's different than a lot of the other prog bands that maybe take themselves a bit too seriously. And Frippa continues with this funk feel with groovy guitar, organ stabs, and great beats. There's some great violin soloing, a more expansive vocal-led section, some great synth soloing before a screaming guitar solo. Just a chance for all the band members to shine particularly well in this great feast of musical endeavor. Twin Peaks is the expanded near epic, almost 14 minutes in length. It begins very pastoral, kind of this Hackett-like guitar, sumptuous violin leads, delicate female vocals, undeniably gorgeous, and the violin truly shines brightly, and the vocals are just sublime in this piece. And I love how it takes its time to build. It swells and slowly makes its way to these great musical heights with these added vocal layerings, some great searing guitar work, textured soundscapes, heavenly beauty. It reaches its height about 6.5 minutes in, only halfway through the piece, before it morphs to this kind of different soundscape, to an 80s electronica keyboard, intermittent vocal wanderings, a kind of new age style atmosphere. And we once again start building up to another new height. And expertly crafted, because of obviously the name Twin Peaks showcases that it first peaks at that 6.5 minute mark, and then we get into a new musical soundscape, and it slowly builds and gives you that second twin peak towards the end of the track. Fantastic building percussion, a bit tribal in its feel with chanting vocals, building layers and atmospheric textures, some great violin, great symphonic washes, and it's just like the best of those swelling, beautiful yes moments like Close to the Edge and, Awaken, these big majestic moments that this band's able to pull off. And it fades out with that intoxicating electronica-tinged keyboard sound. Fantastic piece of music and piece of art that finishes this record. And then we get a fantastic bonus track, Earth Song, which I believe was originally on their debut record, but they've updated it to give it a more modern feel towards what the band's doing now. And it has a brighter guitar figure married nicely with a satisfying deep bass groove. This one really lays in the pocket and takes its time with this really satisfying groove with some vocal ticks kind of coming in and out of the fray, motive violin soloing, very deliberately paced, very tight grooves. A beautiful vocal takes center stage, and it just is a total vibe. I love this track because it just gives you those good vibes and really lets you relax. And it's kind of a fun way to end the record because you end in a more relaxed state with these beautiful sections. A guitar break in the middle even brings to mind some classic Genesis 12-string style guitar work. And of course, those sumptuous vocal harmonies and sweet violin work, which is a signature of the band. Just everyone's firing on all cylinders. I love the mixture here of sumptuous violin work, great female vocal harmonies, expressive emotive guitar playing. It just all works expertly to perfection on a really tight, beautiful record where there's no moment wasted. And this is a band on the rise. They've been really excelling in a lot of people's eyes. I believe they topped the Prague Magazine poll for the most popular band in Prague right now. So they obviously have a lot of fans who are supporting the band heavily and getting their name out there. And I hope to be one of them. I want people to know about this band because they're truly one of the best in our little genre here and doing some excellent work of bringing like that classic prog feel into the modern era with some really great vibes. So thank you guys for joining me on this review. Hopefully you appreciated it. Hopefully you'll check out the record, which is coming out April 4th. Should be this upcoming Friday. Fantastic. Well worth your ears and attention. Pre-order it or order it outright wherever they're selling the records. It would be a fantastic one to add to your catalog. So thank you guys for joining me. And let me know in the comments section if you're familiar with this band, your thoughts about them and this upcoming record, and if you've heard it, how you feel. I would love to know it. So thank you guys, and I'll catch you guys in a future episode. Bye, everybody. Enjoy the music.